2021 Intense Tazer Expert. Just picked this bike up from a good buddy Dan down at Paradise Garage in Columbus, Ohio. I have test ridden Intense bikes around parking lots and in kind of fields by the shop, and I've always been impressed with just the way the bikes felt. Something about the rear geometry, the rear triangle, the front, just felt really good to me. And again, I'm a motocross guy, so I love mountain bikes that feel like dirt bikes, but this bike always felt really cool to me. And I finally decided, let's just get one and see what they're all about. Now, I normally ride a 22 Levo Expert, and I really like the Levo. And of course, it's a mullet, small rear wheel, big front wheel. And I'm really enjoying that bike. But these bikes always were very interesting to me. So this Expert is like their lower end model. So it's $62.99 retail. Comes with Fox Performance fork and the Float X2 rear shock, so it's got good suspension on it. It's got a Shimano drivetrain, so we got an SLX 12-speed in the back and Shimano brakes. It's got some heavy-duty DT Swiss wheels on it, which are good because I'm like 6'2", 195, 190 pounds, and I tend to hit things sometimes. It's got some nice Maxxis tires on it, a Minion downhill, so they're a little bit more beefy than normal. This is their 500 watt hour battery, easy to come in and out of here for charging. Yeah, it's not as big as the 600 or my Levo comes with 700, but it is lighter and smaller. Now this has the older Shimano 7000 motor, which is rated at 60 Newton meters of torque, and my Levo I regularly ride is 90 Newton meters of torque, so I was really expecting this thing to kind of lack power, but it only has 3 modes: Eco, Trail, and Boost, and I'm amazed. I don't notice a 30% drop in power. It has, and especially in trail, it's a really natural feeling assist to it. So I've only got, I think I'm about 4 miles into my ride now. This is literally my first time on a bike, and I don't even know all that much about it. I kind of set suspension stuff at the middle. But I just wanted to get out on and see what my initial impressions are. And it's fun when you first get on something just to see how it talks to you. But everything I felt on my test rides, I'm feeling now on these, on real mountain bike trails. It just has a feel through the pedals when you're standing up, and the way it kind of, you can weight it, and the way the rear suspension works. So this has kind of a floating 4-link rear suspension, which I think is pretty unique, and I was just curious to buy one and just ride it myself for a while, really own it and tweak on it a little bit, try some things. But I just like the way this thing feels, especially kind of when you're standing in the pedals pointed downhill, but it still turns quick. And with the full carbon build, it weighs about 49 or 50 pounds. It feels light, which is lighter than I thought, but I guess some of that's probably just the small battery. It feels good standing up out of the pedals too. And again, it's that I've never had this kind of rear suspension. I've been riding a lot of different bikes lately. Of course, my 22 Levo Expert, and I was on a 22 Canevo SL, which is really nice, and even rode a Husky Hardcross recently. So I've been on a couple different bikes, different motors. It's kind of fun to see how they all feel. But this Intense, I don't think there's anything trick about the geometry. I think this actual bike's been out a while. The geometry, or maybe 18 or 19. But I really like the way it feels. Cornering, standing, sitting, pedaling. And again, this Shimano motor, I think it really rewards you if you have a little higher pedal cadence. The Brose's in my Levo just has monster torque at 0 RPM. But even in some of these tighter switchbacks, this bike feels agile and small. And it really isn't. It's more of a downhill kind of bike. But my initial impressions are just what I thought when I rode them before. It just has a really cool geometry and feel to it. Confidence. And these aren't any kind of big jump trails like at Horns Hill or anything, but it's still fun. Yeah, but the way it kind of responds to inputs, and man, I'm surprised, because I'm so hooked on power. I'm surprised how much I'm able to ride a bike with 30% less peak torque. I really thought I'd notice that a lot more. I'm not feeling it so much, but I think Intense did a good job in making a e-bike for dirt bike guys that you can just jump on and go and feel confident. Just has a real natural feel. I like that. 2021 Tazer Expert. So just the first ride, love the handling. I like this multi-link. It's got a link here, it's got a link here, pivot here. So it's got this whole virtual pivot. Works. The geometry feels good. Mullet. Man, I'm looking forward to more rides than this. 2 big thumbs up.